Welcome to another episode of the Flag Stays Down podcast, baby shower edition. Got a full house. Matt, man of the hour, how's it going?
Doing good. We're still I wouldn't say on pins and needles, but baby watch is still occurring. Um yeah, we're 3 days out from the due date, but they always say the second one happens a little bit earlier, so we still got a couple more days for that to pan out. But yeah, other than that, all's good. About as ready as we can be. The one thing that I experienced, I don't know if you guys did either, but I don't remember much of kind of the day that like my son was born. It's all kind of like a blur with just small little bits and pieces of detail here and there. If you kind of scope out like the day and everything, my wife totally was in total was in labor for 18 hours. Um, I maybe remember 10, 15 minutes of it in small sections. There was just so much going on, so many emotions. So this one, I don't know, we'll be at home for this one, so that might be a little bit different, but there's going to be probably a lot of moving parts and we'll just see how things go. But yeah, everybody's in good spirits, everybody's doing well, so still on the clock. In honor of the draft, we are still on the clock, and the pick is not in. Collins, how are you doing?
Was that pick drop into the fourth round or what?
It got a prank phone call that it was drafted, but lo and behold, we're in the third round. We're probably likely to see action in the fifth.
That was one of the highlights of my weekend. Obviously, the draft being here in Wisconsin was cool. Um, watching Shadeur Sanders drop and just ESPN freak the fuck out about it was fantastic. Um, but no, it was, good weekend. As you guys can tell from the freaking sty behind me here, we are doing stuff around the house. So painting is my new assignment. So we got everything congregated in the office kitchen area here. So um, yeah, not a thrilling weekend, but taking on that Matt role of having a new project every time we pod. Parker, how are you?
Matt didn't have a new project. He had one project that lasted countless weeks of that. But Collins, I haven't thought about you painting since the summer where we became best friends. Like that summer of 2010. And the only reason I know that's because that was the World Cup and South Africa. So work for like, I don't know, 4 hours, if that, in the day. Watch the World Cup and then Always Sunny and all of the memories that we don't really have much of anymore that ensue. Um, Matt, good luck to you and the fam. Exciting times. I hope you can like take some time to soak it in because I tried to do that as much as I could with mine, and I feel like I have slightly more memories than just the bits and pieces of the chaos. So um, fun times to look back on. My son's almost 6 months old, man. Like it's absolutely crazy how time flies. So, our weekends are just focused around him, focused on spending time. I had a relatively busy week. I was in Seattle for a day for work. And I'll tell a very quick story, but I dodged an absolute bullet where I had like a 7 o'clock flight, got delayed to like 9:30, and I was like, fuck, it's a 3 hour flight, plus you lose an hour. I'm like, it's already slated to get home pretty late. But I looked, and the earlier flight that left at 3:30 also got delayed. And I was like, huh, wonder if I can get on that one. So I looked, switched it to the 3:30 that ended up leaving at like 5:30. So not only did I get back before I should have gotten back, if my original flight was on time, I looked up at that original flight the next morning and it landed at 4:17 a.m. It would have been bad. And I had, meetings that start at 7 a.m. So like, would have been brutal, dodged a bullet. And sometimes life just feels like you get a little lucky. Most of the times I'm on the one that goes late and gets canceled or whatever. I felt like I was probably gonna have to stay in Seattle. I'm not Not doing that flight. So I got a little lucky there. Otherwise, the weekend was pretty chill. We've had great weather here. We had some rain on Friday, but Saturday was in the 70s. Today was in the 80s. So spend time outside, enjoy it. It's been great. And we got to watch a win. Early win, but a win nonetheless.
Yeah, and so in honor of winning and uh and the draft this weekend, I was thinking this, as I was kind of watching both quarterbacks in the NFL tend to be, number one or at least top three picks. Usually one of the top picks in the draft is a quarterback, set position. If the Premier League had a draft, we know MLS does, but no one pays attention to it. So no, no hard information here. If the Premier League had a draft, what position would be the automatic first pick year in and year out?
I would say probably a number 10. Those are going to be the guys that are your all pro, like playmaking top recruits consistently. So I would say it would be a number 10.
I would say probably maybe not your tens. I would say probably more like a six. Um, so I kind of relate them. And Collins, this is actually what you related them to, which I'm going to steal it right now because it's a perfect analogy. They're kind of like the offensive linemen. There's a lot of them. They always go early in the draft, regardless of, if you have a stocked QB class, whatever. Even if you do, even if your top 10 picks, five or six of them are going to be quarterbacks, you usually have one or two offensive linemen and maybe somebody on the D line. You always have offensive linemen. Wisconsin, notably, has had a very good history of first round pick offensive linemen. They're the people that you need who don't get talked about much. There's a lot of them, right? You look at an offensive line, there's five, at least five per team on the field. It's a position that a lot of people can play, but if you find offensive linemen or number sixes that are very, very good, they are worth their weight in gold.
I like that. I like the 10. But I think if I equate something to a quarterback, it's, you know, the flashiness, the points, touchdowns scored kind of a deal. I think it's got to be a striker. Um, those are the guys who tend to get all the hype. You look at the reports of the youth games, the academy games, and you only ever hear about goal scorers. I mean, all the news out of the academy this year was the Moroccan Messi, who we've got, who's scored like 50 goals this year or something like that. Um, I don't know. Goals sell tickets. Goals sell kits. I think that's probably your number one pick year in and year out.
And as you were saying that, I think it makes sense because when you have a great number 9, it's wonderful and you can win around it. And when you have a bad one, you feel it. Like the difference between good and bad weighs on your team very heavily, and you're always kind of searching for a good one, similar to quarterback.
So we keep nice transition there. We got a number 9 who scored this weekend for the first time since I think my birthday in December. um, Obviously, there's an injury in there, right? But Nicolas Jackson finally back on the score sheet, double digit goals on the year, gives us the 1-0 win over Everton. Matt, this topic's for you. Is Nicolas Jackson back?
No. Next.
Would you like to comment further?
What a stupid question. And I know why you're doing it, so don't get me wrong. So no, I don't think he's close to back. I don't know if he knows what back is. Um like So w- in all honesty, it was a fantastic goal on his part. It was well taken, first time, struck with confidence, and placed beautifully. So I take nothing away from that. Um, but again, kind of the the is he back? He's scored one goal and he's been back, what, 9 games, something like that. So 1 in 9. Is that back for Nico? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It could be. Is he back to himself? And I use that term very loosely. Maybe. If that's the case, it's kind of a low bar. Um, but it's good to see him score. Um, we definitely need him to. We know that he's been contributing in other facets as well. Kind of stuff that doesn't always go on the stat sheet. And it's nice to see him get that goal. Especially in a game where yes, it's Everton, but we struggle with Everton. We always struggle against Jordan Pickford. You go back, I don't know how many years, but Pickford always seems to have the game of his life against us. Um, but it was a fantastic take, a great finish. I hope that it starts kind of getting him going in the right direction as we head into the final stages of the season. We do have a lot of tough matchups going on, and we do have the competitions to finish up. So if this kind of kickstart, if it's able to kickstart something for him towards the end of the year, then I'm all for it.
I like I like that he scored, obviously, but I just like the way he scored. That goal felt like a prime striker goal. I mean, if you kind of blurt out his image and put anyone else there, it's just like that's a striker goal. And he took it very, very well. So I was just happy that he got back to his ways of doing that. It almost made me wonder if he's better when he doesn't think, like when he doesn't have the chance to think through options, and he might because a lot of times he gets played on a long ball and he's running at it and he's got all right, I'm gonna get there and then I'm gonna do this. And yeah, I feel like his head's kind of going. The instincts kicked in massively on that goal. He touched one touch, turn, fire. He didn't look. He basically could have been blindfolded. He just turned and fired and went in. It was great. It's exactly what you want to see out of it. And yeah, in a game where we didn't have as many chances as I thought we would have to score, you look back on the game and say, we definitely needed that goal to get us in a position to win. And it kind of makes you remember other games that ended in draws or potentially losses. And it's like, yeah, but we had a couple good chances to win. Sometimes the game is on really thin margins and you need just some of those balls to go in. So, uh, one of the other funny things that happened during the game was the two commentators were talking about Nico. And is Nico a Chelsea level striker or Premier League level striker? I can't remember how they phrased it, but second announcer said, how many is he on? And it said 9. He said, yeah, he's got to be up, 14, 15 or something like that. And I was like, one could get there. It's not out of the question. Like could kind of push for that kind of a number. And two, that's where you get corrected and said like, yeah, but he missed 9 games with injury. Like, you have to kind of count some of that in there for it. And I just thought, Nico's had highs, he's had some lows. We talk about chances that have gone wasted. Um, but he continues to put in work and he continues to get out there and show up. So I'm happy he gets rewarded with a goal. And I don't know if he's back, but he's looking all right.
And Nico, we've said this since he became the full-time number 9 last year. He's a confidence guy. He is a streaks guy. So Matt, yes, while it's 1 goal in 9, it's also 0 goals in 8 and 1 goal in 1. So yeah, I'm doing Nico math there. Um,
So he's got one in a row. Got it.
he has scored in 100% of his last 1 game.
Stop it.
where the temperature's been so and so, and the wind has been coming from whatever direction at what specific speed. Got it.
Do you think Nico would have his own draft room on draft day?
Just as long as it doesn't say legend on it or legendary all over the place. Then I don't give a fuck. But no, I've liked what I've seen out of Nico the last couple times. He's featured, makes good runs. Yeah, he seems to be getting shots off quicker than he did at this point last year. At this point last year, he was still holding on to it too long. He was still second guessing himself. Um, I think it's all there. And like I said just a few moments ago, he's a streak guy. He's a momentum guy. Um, this may set him off. Now there is somebody who's on a bit of a cold streak, well, remaining on a cold streak, and that is ice cold Cole Palmer. What is it up to now? 17 games that he hasn't scored.
Stop counting.
I did stop counting. I just heard it on the commentary. Um, Let me ask you this, guys: are we worried about Cole Palmer?
You want to go, Matt?
No, you can start.
I don't- Worried is a strong word. I don't know that I'm worried. I also, and I'll just say this, like I wasn't mad about his involvement in the game against Everton. I actually think we're a better team when he doesn't go all the way back and get the ball. I've said that before, where if he tries to be involved in matches too much, kind of tries to force himself into it, I think we're a worse team. And I didn't think he did that as much against Everton, so I was happier with that. I think it automatically leads to less opportunities for him to score. So it's one of those like if we are winning, which I don't know, you can look back, we're not like the hottest team in the world. We're definitely not the coldest team in the world either. If we're winning, I don't care about anyone's individual numbers. If we're finding ways to win consistently, like no one's individual numbers matter. And when you look back at Cole Palmer's season, he's still going to have an impressive number for goals and assists next to his name, even if he goes blank the rest of the season. So, you forget about when we look back at Cole Palmer, hopefully in 5 years, and say, first season he was dynamite, second season he was dynamite, third season he was dynamite. We'll still like look at this season as a dynamite season. So I think it's still way too early to, have any panic button pushing on him as a player. Um, he hasn't shown me anything except for a couple being like 4 or 5 in this stretch where it was shots that he would have put on target and he badly missed them, missed kicks that you just didn't really see out of him. Other than those mishaps, I'm not really concerned at all with his game.
I I wouldn't use worried. I think again, I think this is a scenario where he kind of took the world by storm last season. And I think he probably outplayed what a lot of people thought that he could do. And in doing so, he set himself up with a really high bar. And he was scoring a ton for us last year because he had to. Like nobody else was really doing it. He had to. This year he has help. Um, but I think the other thing to note is that he's still contributing. Like just because he's not scoring goals doesn't mean he's not contributing. He's still getting assists. He is still creating space. He's still playing people in, finding great runs well, against other teams' back lines. He's still doing a lot of things really well. It's just the stuff that people aren't looking for because they only care about goals because he did at such a good job last season and even to start this season. But at the same time, he's also gotten more help where he doesn't need to do it all by himself. Um, I think Cole is just fine. Um, so I wouldn't say I'm worried. He is still contributing in meaningful ways that go beyond just how many goals he scored in a match.
Yeah, and the stats part of it is alarming when you look at it, right? It's not necessarily the end all be all. It's the famous Matt eye test as well, but he's starting to not pass the eye test for me. He's starting to show frustration out on the pitch. He's starting to press. He's starting to try to force things, which is all part of a young player growing up in the league. The thing that alarms me is that he's now at just about 90 matches over the last 2 seasons, just for the club, not including any internationals. Um, with, let's see, a possibility of what, 7 more? I don't think you can bench him in any of these 7 coming up. 4 in the league plus up to 3 conference league matches. It's almost 100 matches with no break. Got the Club World Cup then coming up, where you got to travel to a whole new continent and play CONCACAF teams. Um, I do worry. I do worry, and it might just be Mason Mount PTSD. He was real hot for a long time, 2-time player of the year. And then you could see the exhaustion set in, but you couldn't bench him. A, we didn't have anybody else, and B, he was our best player. I worry something similar is going to happen to Cole Palmer. So am I immediately worried about the results? No. Am I worried about running him ragged? Yes, 100%.
Interesting too, because we didn't play him at all in the conference league. He wasn't allowed to play in the conference league in the group stages this year.
Right. But other cups and the knockouts, and I think he's only missed 1 Premier League game.
Yeah, he
At
missed
that
Arsenal due
hamstring.
to hamstring. I just pulled up his stats because, obviously he's on a cold streak, but he's still putting up good numbers this year, and I was curious what they all look like. He had 11 goals through 15 matches this year in the Premier League, which is insane. 4 of them came against Brighton, which is hilarious. But 11 through 15, and then he adds another 3 in the next 2, 4, 6 games, and then, then goes cold. So yeah, he's gonna be an interesting one. But if I'm curious, Collins, are you upset with Maresca with how he's treating them then, if it's a fitness or game usage issue?
No, because I would probably do the exact same thing. Your season's on the line, whether Maresca wants to admit it or not. It's Champions League or bust-ish, not 100% bust, but um, you got to have your best player out there. The 3 of us were talking about, oh my gosh, experimenting with the lineup this weekend. Can you imagine if you would have left Cole Palmer out of the lineup just to rest him? We would have had a field day in that group chat. Um, but I would do the same thing as manager. You can't, when you need them, you can't sit your best player regardless of how they're playing.
I'm looking at his stats, and he's still leading the team as far as total goal contributions this season. Like he's still leading all these categories. He's leading in goals. I'm taking out Nkunku because majority of that um is league. But even if we'll just look at Premier League. 14 and 8. That's where he's at right now. The next closest to him is Nico Jackson with 10 and 5. I think he's okay. Like it's not the year that he had last season. Yes, he started off the season red hot. I get that. But at the end of the day, he's still leading the team in goals and assists. Like
But
it's hard to argue that.
Matt, Mr. 1 out of 9, look at it, if you look at his match to match, Parker kind of, well, he stated it earlier, but you know, going back to match day 21, which was the last time he scored a goal, January 14th, he was at 11 goals, 6 assists in the league.
Hmm.
He had his only goal contributions since the middle of January. We're going to be in May in a couple days. Three, three assists.
Yeah, and again, that's fine. He's doing a lot of other things. Again, like I said, that don't always make it on the stat sheet. We'll call it the Nico Jackson stat line. Oh, he's making good runs. Okay, that's great. It's not a stat, but I agree. He is making good runs. The thing that Palmer does is he opens up space for a lot of other people. Like if you were to think about, him and Neto, right? If you have Cole Palmer kind of in the middle, that's going to free up the wings a ton. And then you let Neto or Noni just go ahead and work one on one. And I can probably guarantee you, and I don't know the stat or if this is even accurate, but just based on what I've seen, I guarantee you, if you look at Noni and if you look at Neto, I guarantee you that their numbers have gone up during the stretch where Palmer's have been down. He's got help. He has more support. It's not just Cole Palmer has to go and do it all himself. Parks, you talked about how he has to go back to, basically the back line to get the ball. He doesn't necessarily have to do that anymore. If he does it, then I agree. He's trying a little bit too hard to get involved in the game. But if he is doing that, it's to open up for other people. And that's the thing that I've seen is he's become more of a facilitator than a goal scorer. He's adjusting to what's there. Right now, he doesn't have his shooty boots on, so he's finding other ways to contribute.
So it's interesting we're talking about this because my wife and I were on a walk today and we were actually talking about something similar. So I'll pose it up to you guys. Um, she just asked like the very simple question of why do you think hockey counts assists for the last two people that passed it and other sports don't? Yeah, the hockey assist, right? Like why doesn't soccer adopt a hockey assist? And I was thinking about it, and obviously the first thought is stats don't become comparable anymore, and whatever. It's the way we've always done it. But it got me thinking that I wish I wish we tracked it, but called it something different. Even if we called it a hockey assist, I don't care. HA, right? Like, don't include it as an assist in your assist number, but call it something else and track it. I'm curious to see how many of those Cole Palmer has because we have advanced metrics on soccer players, and I think they're all great. But like, this is just one I would be very curious to see who in the league is doing that. Who sets people open or passes people open that ended up being an assist from them or something like that. To your point, Matt, I think Cole Palmer does do a lot and doesn't always get the stat number on it. If we tracked something like a hockey assist, I think we would get a little bit better of attacking prowess from someone who's not getting goals and assists as much.
And there is a stat that I don't know. It's one that I know what it is, but I'm not super familiar with the background of it, and that's key passes. I'm looking that one up right now. Pass that directly leads to a teammate having a shot on goal, even if the shot doesn't result in a goal. Okay, so it's not exactly what I was thinking, but I did look that one up just in case while I was waiting for the definition to load. Cole Palmer is second in the league behind Bruno Fernandez with 70 key passes this year. Bruno Fernandez 74, Palmer 70, Mo Salah 62, Enzo Fernandez 62.
It's good company.
It is, it is. But to go directly to your question, hockey's a little bit more fast pace, more 1-2 kind of a deal. And and while I can see the value in adding a hockey assist tracking in soccer, I don't know outside of the ones that we could probably name off the top of our head this year, you know, how many of the pass before the passes were like actually created the play.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to it, but I think if you start watching goals, I think it'd be more than you would expect it to be. Kukurea sends someone down the line, cross, header, bang, right? Like again, I don't think he should get an assist for it. I don't think it should count as an assist because in hockey they count the same. First assist, second assist, they're both assists. They don't like distinguish it. And I don't think that's proper in this situation. Food for thought.
Matt, you're the resident hockey expert.
I do know how they count assists. I don't know the reasoning behind it. Um, it is interesting that they're the only sport that does it. Because you start thinking about the NBA, right? If you have a couple of quick passes being rotated around the perimeter in like a zone when the defense is playing a zone, quick passes, yeah, that's going to lead to a three, right? So technically you needed both of those passes in order to do that. So you can make the argument that the NBA should have it. Um, would I like to see it adopted? Personally, no. And the main reason for that is because, and Collins, I'm sorry, I'm not coming directly at you. I'm just speaking in generalities. The people who are so stat focused, like even if we talk about the media and everything like that, the people that are so stat focused would more or less, I think, abuse that, where it would be like, oh, well, it would just kind of either it would impact like a player's value. Oh, they had 32 assists last season. Mm, I don't know about that. Like, really? Is that where we want to go, right? We're kind of so used to this. Okay, it's the last person who played the ball in, they get the assist. Now you start adding something else where it's like, oh, well, this pass to this goal, it gets a little iffy. I do like the idea of you need to have some sort of way to identify that it actually created a way for the assist to happen. I would like that, but it's very subjective, and I don't think that we would be able to actually track that. Um, Hockey, I agree, Parks. I do think because it is so fast paced, and to me, this is going to sound weird. To me, hockey, I think, is more of a team game than soccer is. I really do because of, again, you have five people flying down the ice on your side, and you really don't have time to try and do things one on one. In soccer, yeah, you're given opportunities to go and do things one on one and kind of, do what you need to do, weave through defenses. You don't have that luxury in hockey. You need to move the puck around. Like there is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So I could see how having that extra assist or that two-person assist, I could see how that would make sense.
Yeah, man, yeah. I don't have anything else to add to that. Sorry, I thought I did.
All I'll add is you clearly don't watch Nate McKinnon play because he takes people on one all the time.
There are anomalies to every stat.
I'm just giving you shit
Yeah,
because he's hilarious because he'll go 1 on 4. He didn't give a fuck.
he's ridiculous.
He's so
Him
good.
and McDavid, they will both just do what they need to do. Yes, they are outside of their mind.
I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled with him, man. He's a fun player to watch.
Hmm.
So, Parker, what about this stat here? I don't want to list the whole name of the stat out here, but well, I will. XG chain 90 or XG buildup 90. The total XG of every possession the player is involved in uh, without key passes and shots. So the XG of a possession they're involved in where they do not make the assist or the shot or the
Is
pass leading to a shot
is it for goal scoring opportunities only, or is it throughout the game?
for the whole game.
Okay, interesting. Yeah,
Last year, he was at 0.52 per 90. This year, 0.27. Now, I have no idea if that correlates at all, but it's, I mean, that's a pretty significant drop off in a stat that we just found today.
All I think it's relevant for Cole Palmer. I just think it's relevant for people in the league as well. Just you people put Declan Rice up against Moises Caicedo, and if you just do goals and assists, it tells none of the story for those two. Like just evaluating them, so you have to use other key stats. And yeah, I'm just a fan of again not trying to lump things in with assists, but like having it be its own stat where we can just call it out. And Matt, you use the example like, oh, this guy has 36 assists, it might boost his like really did he? It's like, well, no, but like if he only had four, but 30 times he was the guy that passed someone open to pass someone in, you got to count it for more than just the guy had four assists. Like he's at least doing something out there. And if you and I, and we all know that because we watch every game, but I don't watch Declan Rice play every game. So it'd be interesting to know how many times he does that because I don't watch him every time, every week. And nor do I ever want to because I fucking hate Arsenal. Like I'm just curious, like how our guys would stack up against other guys in some of those key metrics because we know how people stack up against goals. We know how they stack up against assists, XG, dribbles taken on. There's some advanced stats that people can, use to lump in, but it was just a curiosity. Like, I'm just curious where our guys step in. And I'm curious who leads our team in it. Is it Enzo Fernandez? Is it Cole Palmer? Is it Noni Madueke? Like, I'm curious. I think like Cucurella might lead that stat because I know a lot of the times that he pushes down, plays a ball, it can lead to a goal. Not directly, but that second pass to a goal. So he might lead the stat for us. It's just more of a curiosity experiment.
So I'm gonna real quick share my screen with you guys in this audio medium.
Yes.
Frick is the share button. I'm
Love a
old.
good screen share.
This is Cole Palmer compared with Martin Odegaard. Palmer still pretty significantly better than Martin Odegaard. Just looking to compare player to player. The XG chain per 90 that I was mentioning to you, um, they're very similar. Cole Palmer barely ahead here.
You said he was at like point 0.4 or something or
Oh,
point
I'm
0.2.
sorry. That was the XG build up
Got
here.
it.
There we go. So he is lagging in that one. But ones being involved that do include shots or the assist is slightly better than Martin Odegaard. So
So for the listener, Cole Palmer winning in goals per 90, XG per 90, shots per 90, they're bang on assists per 90, expected assists per 90, and KP per 90, which is
key passes.
key passes. Thank you.
So Parker, that was a good point you brought up. Of it's interesting to look at it in relation to other teams. We watch our team. We compare our guys against our guys. Compare our guys against the opposing team in the minute. As we're playing. But at least on this pod, we don't really compare against other teams over the course of the season. Similar players on other teams. So figured I'd bring that one up there.
I
But
have a random question for you guys, if you will entertain me. Caicedo, who's been one of our players of the season, heavily rumored to go to Liverpool before he decided to sign with us. Do you think that there's any regret in him? Do you think he has any regret of picking Chelsea over Liverpool?
I don't think so. He comes off like an N'Golo Kante type to me. Uh, there's all the pictures of him growing up in Ecuador wearing Chelsea jerseys and his mom being so excited about Chelsea. And I think it's while winning titles is important, obviously every player at the in the upper divisions wants trophies. Sometimes there's more at work there, and I don't think he regrets it.
I don't think he does. I don't think he would have it with the caliber of players that are at Liverpool. I think he would have gotten kind of lost. I don't think he would have been able to shine as well as he has here at Chelsea if he had gone to Liverpool.
Who
And
did
I
they
think
end
like
up who did they end up signing in his place? Was that McAllister or was that Endo?
I think McAllister was before.
Okay.
McAllister was before Endo was the replacement to Enzo because I think they were trying to get were they trying to get Enzo too?
I
Was
think
it
they were talking
Was
about.
it Gravenberch?
It might have been yeah.
I mean, that's not bad.
I think like right now there might be like I don't know if regrets are the right word, but I think Chelsea need to win for him to fully not have regrets. And I think then looking back on it, Liverpool could have been the safer option, the win now option. Whereas if you build something from the ground up at Chelsea and end up, you know, having something that you really call your own, that's going to be more rewarding in the future. But if he doesn't win at Chelsea, I think there might be some slight regret. Not a ton, but slight regret of not going somewhere where you could have had a chance to win. Just to your point, Collins, everyone wants to win. No one wants to lose. These guys have won their entire careers up until these points because they're winners.
Talking and winning. We have an opportunity with 4 matches to go to qualify for Europe's premier club competition, the Champions League. Top five this year are guaranteed Champions League spots. Sixth is guaranteed to Europa League, and then all the weird, depending on who wins what cup, going on below that. But there's the possibility of all the way going all the way down to eighth could be Conference League this year. I think we're in a battle for anywhere from third to eighth at the moment. We've got Liverpool, Manchester United, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest to close out the year. What's the outlook on these last 4 games?
Can you run me through the gauntlet again?
Liverpool this weekend. Uh, Parker, correct me if I'm wrong. Manchester United after that.
We don't play Villa. You said we played Villa. It's United.
Newcastle.
Yeah, it's Newcastle, Liverpool, United, and Forest. I don't know if it's not that order. Liverpool's first, then it's probably United, then it's Newcastle, then it's Forest.
Yep. And Forest away to end the year.
There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. And so the only one of those that doesn't scare me is Liverpool. They've already secured the Premier League. Like at this point, and historically, from what I've seen, if there are teams that have already been confirmed as relegation teams, like they know they're going to be relegated, like Ipswich, or if a team has more or less locked up the Premier League, I expect to see a lot of kids out there starting matches for the rest of the season, right? Liverpool, you've won. This is an opportunity to give experience, I think, and that's what we've seen. And even with the regulation teams, throw the kids out there, the ones who haven't really had a chance to get out there, give them a little bit of experience of what it's like playing in the Premier League. You've got nothing to lose, you've got nothing to gain. Just throw them out there. Just kind of let them have fun. That's what I've seen specifically over the last, I don't know, probably 10 seasons, is once things are locked up and once you have your place kind of solidified, then you kind of start throwing out more of the kids and give them an opportunity. So with that being said, with Liverpool clinching today, I see just a bunch of kids probably going out there.
So how many points out of 12?
How many do we need, or how many do I think we're going to get?
How many do you think we get?
5.
What do you say? What do you think, Collins?
Ooh, man, 5. Um, I would still be worried about Liverpool because it's Liverpool. They'll obviously have the title hangover. Um, you might see some kids, but I guess you'll see, the Mo Salahs of the world at least starting. Um, is this one home or away?
Home.
Home. Oof.
Guard of Honor at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah. Oh man. And with how quickly the fans have turned on this team in any given match at home, a point. I think we take a point there. Manchester United's the one I'm not worried about. They are just fucking chaos. You guys know me. I normally love chaos. Theirs is a bad chaos. There's no rhyme or reason. Theirs is more anarchy than anything else. Um, 3 points there. Probably a loss to Newcastle, and then Forest could go either way. That one is going to be my guess. We are level on points. The winner goes to the Champions League. It pure chaos ball in that one.
And it could
So
be like a draw. Draw's not good enough for either team, you know?
right, right. Especially with goal differential playing in and all that. Oh man. I'm gonna go 7 points though.
I I'm not optimistic. Just like looking back at our results, we haven't beaten anyone good this year, really. Like we've really not played the top six well, and we've struggled against, the top teams. So all of these matches worry me. I don't United on paper is the one that it seems the easiest, but like I don't I don't feel like it's easy playing United. I don't know, man. I think I think we see the starters because of the Guard of Honor at Stamford Bridge. So I think the starters kind of go out and get their victory lap against Chelsea, but we see all of the subs used relatively early for Liverpool. So that one can be a crapshoot. Um, I think the other three are all winnable, losable games. Like I think if you look at like Vegas odds on all of them, it's going to be 50% to lose, 30%, or sorry, it'd be like 40% to lose, 30% draw, 30% win, something like that. Like pretty even matches, slight underdogs in all of them, or slight favorites in all of them, whatever way it's going, whether we're home or away. And so if I had to put a number on what I think we come away with 4. I just don't see a clear path to a lot of points with this kind of a gauntlet to end our season, which is hilarious because everybody looked at this lineup and said, like, ending the season with Forest is a good thing. You get to you kind of cap it off and you get that one locked in, and no one really knew how good Forest was this year. So I think it's going to be a dogfight. Like, could we end up with 9? Absolutely. Like, I think we've got the talent and the team to do so. I haven't seen us play consistently at a super high level for it. And Newcastle is going to want to win. Like, they're not going to be in a place to let off the brakes. Forest is definitely going to be in a place to want to win as well. Liverpool not, and United probably won't have a ton to play for. Can't get relegated, can't play for, spots. So, they might not have much to play for at that stage of the season.
So I don't want to get into the topic that I had next, which is kind of based off this, and it's 67 points, 65 points, 64 points is an improvement over the 63 last year. That is a whole nother pod segment for another day, I think. So we'll end with this. Man of the match. Finally posted a man of the match poll after a Nico Jackson like stretch of not. internally, there were a couple a couple options that we debated putting on there. Um, the four that we had decided on, and feel free to vote for someone not on the list: Big Bob, Robert Sanchez, Noni Madueke, Mark Cucurella, Nico Jackson. Argument probably made for Caicedo, um, maybe a couple others in there, but boys, who is your man of the match?
I'll Collins. This is where I make amend. I will give it to Big Bob. He did what he is paid to do, which is stop shots. He did his job. For that, and he made big saves um that I didn't think that he could have made or should have made, but he did it, and well done on him. He's the reason why we didn't end up, kind of shelling that game. So props to Big Bob.
I don't think I voted for Sanchez at the time, but I think he's a very solid choice. I probably just gave it to Nico for the goal. And I thought he had a pretty good game regardless. So I probably gave it to Nico. Honestly, though, like that first save that he made was great, and I think it probably got more of the headlines for good save, if you will. The second save he made, I think he reacted quicker and had to just make a snap save, and also very tough to do. So uh saved us some points. In a stage of the season where we could not afford to drop more points.
Not much debate here. He had a great game, and in addition to the saves, in addition to the shot stopping, um, did a great job coming out to collect crosses. Didn't always look the prettiest, but he commanded the box. And it was a typical Big Bob game. Matt, well, yes, he did save, quite a few. He did stop shots. He had his distribution moments. So, uh, the ultimate Big Bob game. Now to spin off of that here, because he did also win the poll on X. Follow us at Flag Down Pod. 82% for Big Bob. Reports out of France this week: Georgi Petrovic going back to Chelsea. No plan to sell. He'll be replaced by either Philip Jorgensen or Mike Penders. Are we back to a Petrovic Sanchez keeper battle for next year?
Did you
Don't
say, are we
forget about
back?
don't forget about Kepa. Doesn't he come back from Bournemouth?
Bournemouth want to make it permanent.
They want to keep him.
You're up for another fun goalkeeper roulette. Well, how many did we start the season? Did we go into summer with? Was it like seven or
coming
six?
coming out of coming out of preseason tour, we were at 8.
Yeah.
It was Gaga, Keppa, all the ones you listed.
Penders, Bettinelli,
Bentley.
Bergstrom.
Bergstrom, Jorgensen, Sanchez.
Bettinelli. The GOAT.
So I'll kick this one off. One of the two is going to be sold. Petrovic has shown at Strasbourg, and I say every week when we talk about Strasbourg that you can't compare Liga 1 to the Premier League. The advanced metrics, though, put him as a top 3 keeper in France this season. There are some that have him as the top keeper in France this season. It's hard to pass on a top.
And isn't Donnarumma at PSG?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean,
See,
that's pretty good.
I think like goalkeeping stats are one of the ones that are more comparable, almost more comparable, like or more you can put more weight on. Goals you can't put as much weight on, but like if you have a high save percentage in those leagues, or if you have a high save percent or high like XG against you versus expect saves that you have versus expected saves to have, like if you've got if you show out there, I think that's as comparable as stats as you can get, league to league. So if a goalie's showing out, he's probably seeing more shots than he would have seen in the Premier League. So if a goalie's technically saving more, then I think that's a good thing. But I don't know what we do, man. Like Petrovic also showed out the second half of last year. Like he played very well. And like there so I think he's done a lot for us. But we've got too many cooks in this kitchen. Someone's got to go.
So Matt, I'm gonna throw a curveball at you then, because we already saw Trev come back from loan after being exiled. Petrovic, while not at the same level, was pretty much exiled this summer until he was ultimately loaned. Talk of Petrovic coming back and claiming that keeper role. Uh, Enzo Maresca this week talked about how great Trev has been. Is Trev going to stick around now?
If it's me, I would hope so. Who else are you gonna play? We got rid of Disasi. Body of Shield, nah. You have Levi, you have Fofana if he can stay healthy. So you're down to one center back. Achimpong, that gives you two. Y- Yeah, you need him not just because he's been playing well. You need him out of necessity. And Tosin, very hit or miss. Like
If,
I think you need Trev. You
if you're
have
Trev, though, do you stick around after what happened this year?
hard to say. I think it is like, you- and it's really difficult to tell because yes, he went on loan to Palace. He was doing well at Palace, and he willingly, I think, came back, said, "Yeah, let's do this." Like, had no problem with, fine, loan's done. We need to be recalled. Boom, slotted in first match on like 2 days. Slotted in right away. Boom, and played fantastic. I think he loves the club. I really do. So I think he will stay if he's willing to have a straight up conversation with Maresca and basically say, you tried you tried this already and it didn't work because you needed me back. So let's do something about that. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they look at trying to get him a new contract. I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen, but I think Trev stays. I think Body Shield probably goes.
We need more bodies in general. Yeah, I hope we get to a point where in the near future we don't need Trev. I think Trev is fine, but I don't think Trev lights the world on fire. I don't think that's his role by any means. I hope we don't need him. Like I hope guys like him are serviceable in an FA Cup and serviceable in a League Cup and serviceable in a group stage match and hopefully the Champions League next year or the Europa League or whatever. But like they're rotation players and they're not out and out starters for us. And I don't think that they should be for us. I think if we think it's a good idea that Trev is an out and out starter, then our standards have dropped severely.
I agree with that. I've been saying that since last year. Um, Trev isn't the guy. He's a nice piece. He's a guy that you want to come off the bench. He's a guy that you want to close out a game. He's the Didier Drogba closer coming in at the end of the game. Um, if I'm him, though, I think, Matt, you're onto something. I think I'm demanding a new contract. I mean, his contract's coming up. It'll be done in the end of the 2026-2027 season. So he's got 2 years left on his contract. If I'm him, if I'm his agent, I'm looking at this. And, if Igbali is all based off of analytics, like the Pochettino talks at the end of last year, saying, hey, I came in and all of a sudden you guys started keeping clean sheets in the second half of the season. And then I'm asking for a boatload of money. If you're gonna fuck me over again, I'm at least gonna make some money off of it. It's gonna be real interesting. Now, there is the possibility we go out and sign like 4 center backs this summer. I could see that happening. Um, but I think the club needs Trev more than Trev needs the club at the moment.
I would agree. I don't think Trev is our long-term fix, but looking at what we currently have and the work that we need to do to get the right people in, he is a security blanket until we get to that point. He is somebody who is capable. We're already seeing it. His partnership with Levi, like we're already seeing it. We know it works. Everybody else that we have is either not playing well enough or they're injured. He is your ultimate security blanket at that position. Um, and until we get into a position where we do have a stable locker room of quality center backs, I think I think you're spot on. I think the club needs Trev as part of that long-term transition period. I could see it probably carrying out for another 2 seasons.
Okay, well, boys, that I lost track of time, but I'm sure that's pushing up against the hour here. Any closing thoughts?
Gonna be a dogfight to the end of the year.
Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to follow us on social media at FlagDownPod. And Parker, I hope I'm talking to you next week. Matt, I hope to not see you because you're spending so much time with the new addition to your family. Cheers.
Later,
Appreciate that,
boys.
boys.